Hello, hello, hi, folks. Welcome. Happy Sunday. In hopes that you squeezed more out of your day than the day squeezed out of you. I am Sean Azimi with SideGigSean.com, and I help folks create a side income using social media. Welcome. We are live on all channels. What's happening? For those of you who are fathers, I wish you, well, I wish you had a wonderful Father's Day surrounded by loved ones, kiddos, grandkiddos, great kiddos if you have those, which is amazing. Yes, Father's Day here in America, and I wish all the pops a great day. Um, and Because it's Father's Day, let's do a Father's Day story. Excuse me. What's happening? Lee, how are you? Welcome. Melanie, what's happening? Edward, I see you guys. DJ Alva is in the house on Instagram. I gotta look, I gotta do this to see that camera. Anyway, let's go. Happy Father's Day again. The story is, the story goes as such. A father, um, oh, sorry, something threw me off. A father, an older guy, is probably towards the end of his life, and he wants to leave his son with something worth of value. So he calls his son over. His son comes over and he says, "Hey, um, I want to give you something of value. I want you to go open that chest, and there's a box in that chest. I want you to bring that box to me." And the son goes to the chest, opens it up, gets the box, sees the box, and brings it over. And the dad carefully opens the box. There's a pouch, takes the pouch outside, takes the pouch out, and then there's this kind of a coin inside that pouch, right? A kind of a coin that you haven't like seen before, but it doesn't look like it's worth a lot. But it's well taken care of, right? So he gives this to his son, and he tells his son that I want you to go and see if you can what price you can get for this. Brayden, what's happening? How are you? I see you. Welcome. Thank you for all the love. I appreciate it. Glow, I see you. What is up? So the son goes, okay, and the father reminds him to be careful, not to give it away the first place he finds, and just really try to see what this thing is worth. And so the son goes on a quest. The first store is basically pretty much outside their home, and this guy sells all kinds of stuff. It's like one of those old school stores that has like everything in it, right? So he goes to the guy and he goes, hey, listen, I want to know what this thing is worth, right? So he takes a look at it. He looks at it. He's all like, I'll give you $50 for it. The son says, okay, well, let me come back. I'm gonna take a look around. I'll come back. So he goes up the street a little bit more, and he kind of walks up a little bit. It gets to a little bit of a fancier store. It's like this guy. He's got some nice vases in the window, if you would. Some really cool little stuff. So he goes in there and carefully opens the box, gets the pouch, and gets the coin out, and asks the guy, how much do you think you can get for this? And the guy says, "You know what? This is actually a pretty cool coin. I haven't seen one like this before. I'll give you 500 for it." The eyes of the boy like open up a little bit, and he gets really excited, but he remembers what his dad told him. He said, "You know what? Hold off until you kind of just really know, right?" So he says, "Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'll definitely come back on my way back." He goes up the street, and he's by now he's kind of tired because he's been walking and walking and walking, and he finally finds this fancy little store, right? That it says antiques, right? So he thinks, well, these guys gotta pay more for this, right? And he goes into the store, and he opens the box, the pouch, and gets the coin out. And when he gives it to the guy and says, "How much do you think you can give for this?" And he looks at it, and he really likes the coin. He's really studying it. He gets a little eye thing, and he's all like looking at it from far and like you know close, and looks at the kid, looks at the coin, looks at the kid again, and says, "I'll give you $5,000 for this." And the kid all of a sudden goes, "Okay, Alejandra, how are you? Welcome, welcome." So goes, "Whoa," but still remembers. He still remembers. You gotta hold off until you gotta know exactly what you can get. Maybe you can get more, right? He gets really excited, and he thanks the guy and says, "You know what? I'll definitely come back on the way back if I decide to sell this thing." And then he goes up further, and he just keeps going and going and going, and he sees these lights, right? He sees these really elegant lights, and as he gets closer and closer, it looks like a really fancy schmancy little store, like really rare items, right? And everybody's like dressed nicer when they're going to the store. The store is designed really nice, and like when he was looking around, he's all like, "Wow, this place is really nice," right? So he comes in, and somebody comes up to him and says, "How can we help you?" And the kiddo goes, "This is the story. I wanted to see how much you would be able to give me for this coin." And the guy grabs the coin with his white gloves, and he goes behind the counter, gets his little eye thing, and he's looking through the coin. Um, he puts a different light on the coin and kind of sees it all different ways, and then puts it carefully back in the pouch, in the box, and gives it back to the kid and says, "This is a very special coin. This is an this is a very rare coin. I'm willing to give you $50,000 for this coin." At this time, the kiddo's eyes just burst open, and he's telling himself, "Oh my goodness." And he says, "I don't think I'm going to sell it. I did want to know how much this thing is worth." And he comes kind of coming back. "Hey, Zay. Hey, Kent. How are you guys?" He starts kind of walking back towards the house, walks back to the house, gets inside. He can't wait to tell the story to his dad. Dad says, "So, what could you get for the coin?" And he says, "Dad, you won't believe this." He says, "Well, why don't you try me?" He said, "I went to the store up the street, you know, and he opened it up. He said he'd give me $50 for it." And I said, "Well, I got to be able to get more than that, right?" So I went to the next store up the street, And this was a little nicer store, nicer store. And he looked at it. He looked at me. He looked at it. He looked at me, and he said, "I can give you $500 for it." And I figured at this point, since I've come to two stores, and I remember what you said. You said, "You know what? Got to make sure that you can get every penny's worth, right? So don't settle." That's what you told me. So I remember that. So I figured, you know what? I'll go another one. So I go up the street. I go up to this nice, really nice store, right? And when I get inside, I ask the guy how much. Samir, namaste, namaste. And he says, he looks at the coin. He gets a little eye thing. He's looking at this coin, and he turns around to me and he says, "I can give you 5,000." So at this point, when I had that 5,000 offer, Dad, I remembered what you said. I'm like, maybe this thing is actually worth more. So I started going up to another store, and this store was a very fancy store. It was really nice and chic, and people were dressed nice, and the decor was amazing. And the guy, when I wanted to show him the coin, he actually had white gloves on, and he took the coin out and he examined it. He got his eye thing. And then he told me that he's willing to give me $50,000 for that same coin. And the father gets this smile on his face, and the son says, "I was blown away. First guy told me $50. We went up to 50,000. How's that possible, Dad? It's the same coin." And the dad turns around and says, "It is the same coin. It's not the same crowd. You got to be careful which crowd you associate yourself with. If you think you are only worth $50, then you're going to be hanging around that $50 crowd, that first store. If you feel like you're going to be worth about 500, then you're going to be hanging around that crowd. The father said it best: don't settle. Keep going until you get every penny's worth, which means you get your value's worth. If you feel like you're worth 50,000, then you walk and talk and carry yourself a whole different way than the guy who thinks is worth $50. Don't settle. Don't settle for something that it's okay. It's like, I'm okay with this. I can settle with this. I mean, it's all right. That's like, that's not fun. That's not cool. That's not what you're here for. You weren't like you weren't dropped on earth for you to just be like, I'm just gonna stay cool. Yeah. You have value. You have worth, way more than you think. You and I think. So I'm asking you, don't settle for cheap worth, for the people that treat you cheap, for the cheap crowd. I'm asking you to live up to your worth, live up to your value, and give back. I definitely appreciate you guys. If you haven't checked out Curiosity Shirts, that is my apparel brand, my t-shirt brand, if you would. And I have launched it about 5 days ago. And if you are one of those who have purchased already, my goodness, I am so grateful. I'm so thankful for you. I really appreciate you. If you have stuff in your cart, I know who you are. Get them out of there. What are you waiting for? And if you haven't checked it out, and if you have no idea what I'm talking about, it's curiositysshirts.com. And I just launched my t-shirt apparel brand. I'm super stoked to share it with you. I ship everywhere for free. I do. So with that, hopefully you guys get some love, some inspiration, some value from this. I appreciate you guys. Drop your thoughts, your comments, your feedback below. Let this feed grow. And with that, I am Sean Azimi with SideGigSean.com, and I help folks create a side income using social media. Signing off until tomorrow when we do it all over again. Much love.